So the answer is, what should we do? Quit. That's what we should do. Easier said than done. Again, there's a road to recovery for everything, and it's up to you guys to find your own path, right? We are going to talk about many changes that we can do, but we also have to try to decide for ourselves, what can I do personally? What can I change to improve my brain health? Any questions?
You just said it specifies cigarette smoke. What about chocolate?
Well, I mean, this study and this research is specifically about cigarette smoke. We still have a lot of research to do about marijuana usage. Oh God, yeah. Well, that's why it's like, what do they call it? A DUI instead of a I don't know, DUI or DWI, something like that. Yes, very much so. I mean, you're intoxicated. It affects your brain. Long-term marijuana use can be detrimental. I can't say right here, right now, that it causes dementia, but it is definitely detrimental to your brain. Yeah. Next is controlling our high. Yes, question.
Just one question. If someone's already been diagnosed with dementia, and let's say they've had hearing issues for a number of years, if they were to start wearing a hearing aid, it would help if you could convince them that they needed it.
Exactly. And you hit on the problem. Any time, no matter what stage or part of the stages of dementia that you're in, if you can do something to better your brain power, if you can listen a little bit better, and that might help you understand and comprehend what someone is saying, absolutely. It's never too late. Never. Okay. So controlling high blood pressure. This is a big one too. Over 50% of Americans over the age of 60 have high blood pressure. Why? High blood pressure causes the narrowing and hardening of arteries in the brain. This increases the risk of having a stroke, a small vessel disease, and consequently vascular dementia. Okay? What can you do? And I will tell you again, I know it's not on the slide, but high blood pressure is extremely concerning again in midlife. Okay? In midlife. So these are things that we all need to start paying attention to. And what can you do? Obviously, we need to go to the doctor. We need to make sure that we are being seen by a doctor for high blood pressure. Okay? We need to exercise regularly. We do need to eat a healthier diet, lower in sodium. It really does work. My stepfather had high blood pressure from his midlife. At one point, when the doctor said he was going to put him on medication, he said, no way. This was before the dementia. He said, no way. I'm going to do it with diet alone. And he did. Might not work for everyone. Everyone is very different. But it's definitely going to improve your blood pressure. So it's really important. Reducing caffeine and alcohol consumption. Again, we get up in the morning, we need to have our cup of coffee, but you might want to stop, if you have 3 or 4 cups during the day, maybe cut it down to 1 or 2 a day, and it's the same with alcohol. Everything in moderation, okay? And again, if your doctor does recommend it, take the medication, okay? Okay, and maintain a healthy weight. Goodness, this is easier said than done. It's not easy. But, unfortunately, people overweight are at a 30% higher risk of developing dementia. And I will talk about the MIND diet, too, in a little bit. I mean, it is proven diet that can reduce your risk factor by 35%. So it's really important. But because being overweight causes brain thinning in the regions involved in learning, in speech, in perception, long-term memory, and judgment. So it's really important that we try to maintain a healthy weight. Being overweight is connected to hypertension, high cholesterol, strokes, and again, that word, inflammation. That's a very bad word for the brain. We don't like it, okay? And all of which causes blood vessel damage in the brain. So again, when we talk about regular exercise, we're going to talk about, I'll show you what their recommendations are, okay? Oh, that'll be later, I guess. Oops, okay. Exercising regularly. So we have to this doesn't mean that you guys have to run a marathon, right? We just need to keep the body moving. If your knees can handle it and there's a small flight of steps, choose the steps instead of the elevator. Making small changes, taking those walks around the block, just moving the body, even if you're doing chair yoga. We need to get weights. If you can do light weights, if approved by your doctor, and again, when you are going to start a new healthy diet or a new exercise plan, it is important that we speak to our doctors to get it approved. Make sure that you're physically able to do these changes, okay? I really want to reiterate that. But if you can get moving, get that body moving, and we start eating healthy, and we're managing our high blood pressure, we're going to be in a much better position as we age, okay? All right, the blood sugar. This is really, seriously, one of the most important issues that we really need to pay attention to, okay? Diabetics have a 30 to 65% higher risk factor for developing Alzheimer's disease. We actually call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. That's how close the relationship is in insulin. Okay, insulin is critical in the formation of our memories. With diabetes, you don't produce enough insulin, or you may be insulin resistant. So insulin resistance in the brain can build up that beta amyloid plaque that we learned about earlier today. Okay, so it's really important that we watch, and I'm really primarily type 2 diabetes is even more dangerous. Okay, because again, that tends to happen when we're a little bit older, but we need to maintain, we really need to watch our blood sugar levels. And if any of you are diabetic or on the verge of being a diabetic, my mom was also on the verge of becoming a diabetic, so type 2 diabetes, it's important that you monitor and change your diet. And this you can, okay? We can, if we don't have type 2 diabetes yet, we still have a chance of trying to stop it from developing, okay? So what can you do? Obviously, avoid those refined carbohydrates. You know, that's all the food that we love. Red meat with inflammation and the pasta and the white rice and things like that. We really have to monitor, yes. Yeah. When we're talking about developing Alzheimer's. So it's just that the later levels with the body, the insulin resistance that develops when you're a little bit older is more dangerous to the brain. Okay, so try to avoid those quick refined snacks. Easier said than done. Again, I'm always going to go back to what? Everything in moderation. Okay. Great. All right, and then staying mentally active. And we were talking about that today. It's everything. It strengthens the brain cell networks and preserves mental functions. You know, we actually try to, I think there's even a piece of paper in your blue folders that talks about the pillars of brain health. And if we can get a good hour of mental stimulation in every day, and the best thing that you can do is try to learn something new. I mean, the language, trying to learn a new language. I'm trying to get everybody to learn how to speak Spanish or Chinese or Russian. Oh my God, can you imagine? That's a difficult language. That's really going to boost my brain power. But at least an hour a day, okay? It could even be something a little bit more fun than learning a language, maybe taking a cooking class. Try to concentrate on the something new point, okay? We don't want to, if we're already knitting, you know, maybe taking another course in knitting isn't the best choice. Or maybe I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar. Music and memories, too, are an integral part. It's a pretty incredible thing, the power that music has to our brains. So learning a new lesson, learning how to cook, art, dance classes, languages, join a book club. The fact that you guys are all here tonight is great. You've taken the time. You've shown the initiative that this is something that's important to you. Your brain health and your memories matter. And so that's good. You're already on the right road, okay? At least an hour a day. All right, now we're going to play, since mental stimulation right here, we're going to do a memory game. Are we ready? Yes, you guys are going to play with me. I have a prize too, okay? Okay. I'm going to try to do this here. Okay, so this is a memory game. It's the old-fashioned memory game where you turn over 2 cards and you try to find the matching cards, right? Okay, so somebody raise their hand and give me 2 numbers. Yes.
4 and 8.
4 and 8. 4 and 8. Nope. Try to remember the pictures. Okay. 2 more numbers.
6 and 9.
6 and 9. Oops. 2 more numbers. Do we remember these? Remember the picture? Study it. Because I don't even know where they are either. 2 more numbers.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. 1 and 2. Oops. I think we've seen one of those. Yes. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. And we have a winner. Yay! You win yourself a brain game booklet. Okay, let's do one more. One more.
12 and 1.
12 and 1. 12 and 1. Oh, I thought you had that one. Okay. All right, I think we've seen one of those. Who knows? 12. 4? Woohoo! Okay, who did that one? That was a few of you, right? Who got it? You got it. Who else got it? You got it over there. You got it over here. You got it. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. Okay, so this is just one example, one silly little example of memory cards, but it's the point. We need to try to work that brain power, okay? Keep that mind active. Let's go to next. All right. So here's that mind diet I was talking about. So this is that famous mind diet that can reduce your risk factor by 35%. Okay, it stands for the Mediterranean Dash Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. Say that 5 times fast. It combines the Mediterranean diet and the dietary approaches to stop hypertension. Look at, there's my words now. Okay, it is designed to prevent dementia and loss of brain function as we age. Okay, and although it includes a lot of antioxidants naturally found in food, omega-3 fatty acids, of course, vitamin Bs, which is great. Low vitamin B12 is also a reversible condition. So if you have an extremely low vitamin B12, you can also exhibit symptoms of dementia. So it's important that we get that checked in our blood. Okay. This diet also is famous for reducing inflammation. That's what we want, not just to fight dementia, but many other chronic diseases, okay? It also can reduce the stress in brain cells. It can prevent the buildup of beta amyloid plaques and proteins in the brain. Okay. So here it is. This is kind of an example. So if you want to take a picture of this, it'll give you a little bit of an example of what we need to do. Yeah, and it's a Mediterranean diet. So the people who live in Europe and live on the Mediterranean, they eat this diet on a regular basis. This is their normal diet. Do you know that there's a city in Italy that has the most amount of people over the age of 100? Yeah, blue zone, that's exactly it. We've got one here in California as well. These are individuals who are living in I forgot what city it was. I keep wanting to say, I think it's Sardinia. Thank you. I want to go there. It's Sardinia, and they have so many. They don't have one nursing home in Sardinia. They all live at home. They all have this wonderful, incredible idea of community. They socialize, they live together, they take care of each other. Friends are helping friends. There's no need for a nursing home. They're all living to be over 100 years old. Not all of them, obviously, but most of them, they have the most people over the age of 100 with no dementia. So it has to work in some way. But again, it's not easy to also eat this on a regular basis, right? It means we're really doing a lot of cooking and we're doing a lot of prep work, and it's not always possible. But again, I find something on the list. Today is the day that you make a change, even if it's a small change. One small change today can lead to another change tomorrow or next week or the following month, right? When we start to feel better, we want to continue to grow that feeling. We're feeling great today. It's like, God, I've been working out, I've been eating right, been drinking a little bit less alcohol. I feel fabulous. I feel focused. That feeling alone will motivate you to continue your journey to be healthy and to be brain healthy, okay? So even if you look at that and try to increase one of those servings, at least this week, you're headed in the right direction, okay? And of course, getting fit, we need to exercise. Again, we kind of talked about this. It does, exercise encourages the growth of neurons and the generation of new neurons. It enlarges those blood vessels in the brain, right? We were just talking about getting up and doing some jumping jacks, get that blood flowing to the brain, wake us up so we can focus on our one task, which is what right now? Listening to the seminar, okay? And it can help you manage heart disease and your blood pressure. Improve your sleep. She was not kidding when she said 7 to 8 hours of sleep is imperative. Okay? So, we even go into a little bit more here. So, it's actually 4 different types of exercise, in case you guys didn't realize. First of all, we're recommending 150 minutes a week of moderate intensive aerobic activity. I know it's a lot, right? That's like 30 minutes, 5 times a day. Got it? Yeah. And strength exercises 2 days a week. Strength exercises are imperative. The stronger your muscles are, the stronger it supports your whole body. We're on our feet all day long. We're walking. Our body takes a toll. Our feet, our knees, that takes a toll to keep us up and moving every day. The more muscle mass that we have, the stronger we are. Okay? But it is a combination of both. Both aerobic and muscle mass. Building muscle mass is important. All right, so we can do endurance, like aerobic activities, which reduces the risk of diabetes or reduces dementia, reduces heart disease. You see, we're talking about a lot of chronic illnesses that we suffer, that many of us do suffer. So you're helping one area, you're also helping another. So it's a win-win situation. The strength is incredible. We can do free weights, we can do the resistance bands, which are great. All right, less opportunity to get hurt with the resistance bands. Flexibility, let me tell you, a yoga studio just opened up in my office building. She's been there a month already, and I'm so bad I haven't gone yet, but I will go. Yoga and stretching is so incredible. Yoga can also be used as a part of mindfulness, right? It's where we try to focus. It's where we find that focus and that inner peace within ourselves. Yoga can help, and also the stretching exercises. And balance with the yoga and Tai Chi. Balance. Your core, listen, our core right here, our tummies, this core here is more important than you know. We believe that many chronic diseases begin in the gut. Our gut is extremely important. Sometimes that means we should be taking prebiotics and probiotics. But what we put into our gut is extremely important. That balance in our gut is what creates inflammation. If that balance is off and there's more bacteria in your gut than more bad bacteria than good bacteria, you're going to build more inflammation. And inflammation, as we know, is a risk factor for developing dementia. So there's all about the gut. This gut, your stomach is also, if we can build our stomach muscles, our core here, this is what helps us stand up straight. This is what helps us, look at, I see everybody else, okay? Stand up straight, shoulders back. I used to be a ballerina. Let me see if I can do it now. So it's really important that we build that core inside and out. This is what holds us up in many ways, okay? Okay, we have another test. Oh, this one's fun. Okay, this is called the Stroop Test. Have any of you ever done this? Okay, so you're going to do this and you're going to whisper it to yourself, okay? What I want you to do, you need to start at the top line, go from left to right. You want to say the names of the color, not the colors you read. So the first one is green. It is not red. So I want you to start, whisper it to yourself, and see if you can see how thick, and of course you have to go as quickly as you possibly can. Okay? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Green. Am I going to do it by myself? Say it. Green, red, yellow, green, purple, black, orange, red, purple, green, blue, pink, brown. Gray, yellow, red, blue, red, black, green, black, yellow, pink, red, blue. Harder than you think, isn't it? So again, this is kind of another fun game that you could play with your friends. Try playing the game after you've had one glass of wine, but that's not a good idea. I forgot I said that. Anyways, but this is a good game to get going. You can take pictures of it. Okay? Kind of a fun party game. But these are kind of, a little interesting games that are different. I'm sure most of you have never tried this before, so you're really stimulating your brain. Okay? Good. All right, now we get back to our pillars. Our next pillar is about socialization. All right, we have talked about socialization, how important it is today. And you know what the great thing is today after the class is over, we should network a little, right? We should introduce ourselves, meet new people here tonight. Because socialization, is key. Social isolation can actually increase your risk factor of dementia or depression, which in turn increases your risk factor of dementia by 70%. We can't mess with depression, okay? Chronic depression especially is an issue. If we're managing our chronic depression, that's a good thing, okay? Also, how you deal with trauma can affect your risk factor for dementia. We all face trauma in our life, right? We all lose loved ones. There are traumatic events that occur in our life. Not how you decide, but how you cope and deal with that trauma can put you at a risk factor for developing dementia. So our mental health is extremely important, and we need to pay attention to that. Okay, so if you stop socializing, you start isolating, and that's when the depression starts to build, right? And we have to work at it. It's not easy. Traumas do affect us. Chronic depression does affect us, and we have to work very hard. And you need to surround yourself with people who will support you, right? So finding your support group, finding your friends that will help you is key, but we need to stay socially active to do that, okay? It also can facilitate new learnings and help manage stress. Friends do help. They really do. Socializing, joining that book club, okay? Joining AA, the AAA, AARP, I'm sorry. Well, I went from AA to AAA to AARP, and that was a good one. That was great. No, don't join all three, but maybe at least two. AAA and AARP are good. Okay. Tips to stay connected. Make sure you do maintain that friendship. Sometimes as we age, it's easier for us to walk away from our friends at exactly the moment that we should be moving towards them, right? So don't give up on your friends. Don't walk away. Let them be there for you, and you be there for them. All right? Get involved in religious or community projects. And my favorite one: adopt a pet. I'm serious. This little tiny dogs or cats or whatever you like. I only dog sit. I don't even have my own dog, but I swear to you, the minute that dog comes over to my house, I am the happiest person ever. Like my whole face lights up. I'm like, oh yay, she's coming over today. So it really can work. It really can lighten up your life. Okay, so socialization is key. Okay, here's another one: mindfulness and spirituality. We also say this because we all have a high stress. We can have a lot of stress throughout our life, correct? But it can put you at a 250% risk of developing dementia. We underestimate the power of stress. Stress affects every part of our life. It affects our heart health. It affects our ability to socialize. Okay, it affects what we eat, what we drink. Right? How we deal with stress with everybody, with many different people deal with it differently. But all those things come into play. Stress can actually shrink the area in the brain responsible for spatial, short, and long-term memory. Stress is highly correlated with depression and poor sleep. okay? And it also compromises your immune system because it releases cortisol, both of which are risk factors for dementia. So we underestimate the power of stress, and so we need to find what works for us. And that can be different for each and every one of you. Some people it might be church. Some people it might be that yoga class. Some people it might be meditation. Okay, some people it might be taking a walk on a beautiful setting all by yourself and just finding your inner peace. Whatever works for you, we should try to find it. I know it's not easy. This is probably, in my opinion, the hardest thing for us to do. We live in a state of stress constantly. We're worried about everything. Our kids, our finances, our future, even our past. So it's important that we try to find what works for you, okay? And then, okay, what can I do? So we kind of just talked about it. Meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, mindfulness meditation. I actually found a place that's called Heart Circle Zen in Bergen County. I'm trying to learn how to meditate. It's very hard, right? It's hard to take your mind off of so many different things. You know, I know we think that we can't multitask and because there's so many things that are going through our mind, but it's hard to clear that out of your mind, to find that moment where we can just be in the moment, okay? But meditation can help with anxiety and depression. It can help with your heart disease. It can help lower your blood pressure. It can help you sleep better. Okay? It's not easy. If you don't know how to start, we also have we recommend this app. It's called the Smiling Mind. There's the app right there. You can look it up. There are a lot to choose from out there nowadays that help with us in reducing our stress levels and how to meditate. So there's a lot. You can find it out there for you. But here's another one which I think is the most important thing. Sleeping. How many of you do sleep 7 to 8 hours a day? A night? Yeah? Sometimes, yeah. Me too. You know, nothing is more important than sleep. We think that when we go to sleep that our brains are done for the day. Do you know they're doing so much more work while we're sleeping at night? I always say I have this picture in my head because while we're sleeping at night, the brain has this natural job of flushing out the protein and plaques that build up throughout the day, right? Our environment, the inflammation, the anti-radicals that can all cause damage to our brain. But what happens is the brain actually has a natural cleansing system. It's supposed to wash out those proteins and plaque. But what happens as we age is that that flushing system, number one, it slows down. But number two, if we're not getting that deep REM sleep, if we're not getting those 7 to 8 hours, doesn't that interrupt your flushing cycle in the brain? It does. So we're not flushing out as much protein and plaque buildup as we can. So it's really important that we try to work on getting a good night's sleep. People in their midlife who get 6 hours of sleep or less are 30% more likely to develop dementia. That's not a big difference, 6 and 7 hours, right? So 6 hours or less can be detrimental and put us at a risk factor for developing dementia. And why is that? Because during the sleep, the brain shrinks, allowing beta amyloid proteins to be flushed away, as we were just talking about the flushing system. Yeah?
If someone has dementia and they sleep pretty much through the night, but also most of the day, is that helping them or?
Well, I mean, as the disease progresses, that tends to start to happen in the later stages where they are sleeping most of the time. In the late stage of this disease, most individuals are bedbound. That does happen. What also happens with dementia, though, is the internal body clock is turned upside down. So they can't tell whether it's daytime or nighttime. Their body clock isn't them, you know, we wake up pretty much the same time every day. We fall asleep pretty much the same time every night because our brains know we're on a cycle. But what happens as dementia destroys the brain function, it destroys your internal body clock, and it can get all turned around. And then you have to add in levels of anxiety and frustration and hallucinations that interrupt sleep. And so the sleep pattern is all disrupted.
So my husband was diagnosed about a year ago. He's not into the severe stage
Okay.
yet, but sleeping pretty much through the night. He goes to bed around 10 o'clock or a little early. But he's sleeping reasonably well through the night, but then all day
Sleeping
long.
during the day too.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
If I try to wake him, then he gets angry.
exactly. This is part of the progression of the disease. However, it's really important with individuals who are living with dementia, especially sort of in that moderate stage, that we develop a routine, okay? That we get someone up at the same time every day. And a routine, you can start to try to create that routine slowly, okay? The best thing for him is to create a routine that might keep him up during the day, finding an activity that might be joyful to him. I know, it's a difficult road, and everyone is so very different, and you can try to make small changes to try to get him up. I would also have a conversation with the doctor about medication. Sometimes the medication that he could be taking could be keeping him asleep all day. Maybe there's changes that can be made. Yeah.
A lot of health issues in addition to that.
And there are a lot of health issues. So there's so many different things that are happening at the same time. It makes it difficult to maneuver through this journey. So it's a conversation you should have with your doctor, most definitely. And also just take a look at how he is spending the day when he is awake and pay attention to the medications he's taking. What is he in the afternoon when he wakes up, or if he does wake up in the afternoon, is he doing something highly active that could keep him up later on? So but it's about taking a good indication of your routine, what was happening through that day, medication, having a conversation with the doctor, that type of thing, to see if we could try to change it. Okay. Any other questions about that? That's a really good one, though. Very good. Okay. So for the last slide, it's kind of what can you guys do today to make some changes about everything we talked about? Pick one thing. We talked about so many different things, 7 different things that we can do to try to improve our brain power and our brain health. But let's try to pick one thing. One small step can lead to another bigger step. So if we're not used to getting any exercise at all, maybe taking that 10-minute walk a few times a week. Adding one more serving of vegetables to your breakfast or your lunch or your dinner. Okay? Making an appointment for a health screening. That's so important, guys, is to stay on top of our own health, managing our heart health, managing our brain health. So we need to get those physical exams. So what I always do, I find works best for me, I can say a lot of things. Oh, I'm going to drink less alcohol, I'm going to eat better. But for me, if I write something down, right, if I make it a point, it's almost like a contract with myself. Okay. I promise that I am going to eat more vegetables this week. I actually physically write it down. It can help. It helps for me. Okay? And you can get support from your friends and family. You know, get a couple of you together if you've got some friends here and say, hey, you know what? For the next month, we're going to try to improve our brain health. Get it together, a group of friends. We're going to take a 10-minute walk 3 times a week, and we're going to eat 1 extra vegetable every day for a month. See how you feel. Okay, I promise you it'll make a difference, all right? And then this is just sort of a recap of how Act Now Foundation can help any of you here. You know, we are a community-supported nonprofit. We work in all of New Jersey. But we do provide information, disease education, as you see all the programs that we do provide. There I am. There's my partner. There's my program director and a whole bunch of our key volunteers. Even one of the directors from Bergen County Division of Senior Services volunteers for us. So it's a good thing. We also have, and hey, it's not a bad idea to volunteer. That's a great way to improve your brain health, right? Giving back. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. So we do what we call in-home evaluations. So that's when we'll get a phone call typically from a caregiver who would like us to come out to the home to evaluate their loved one. So when we do an evaluation, and we do it for individuals that don't have caregivers either, we'll come out to the home, we'll do a cognitive assessment. We're also taking a look at your home environment. If someone is already living with dementia, we're going to do a safety check. We're going to have conversations about medication and is the individual taking her medication on her own. So we're going to sit down and really create a long-term care plan together. We even do what we call family interventions. This is a disease that affects everyone in your family. Okay? Not everyone is on the same page all the time. Sometimes it helps to bring somebody else like me into a situation where we can sit down and talk with the entire family and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. We can explain it to them. How can we come together as a team to help your mom or your grandmother and that type of thing? So again, all of our services are free of charge. The support groups, the cognitive assessments, the in-home evaluations, the disease education is all free of charge. Yeah, and it's a really great, we also work, a lot of times we get called in to an individual who's unfortunately living alone and has no family members. So we also work very closely with the county and with Adult Protective Services to try to get the help to that individual. Our goal is always number one, is to find a family member somewhere out there that can help take care of their loved one. Yeah. Great, yes?
Support groups for caregivers?
We do. So we have a weekly support group. It's every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. It's virtual. So virtual kind of happened, right, once we all went through COVID. And for us, we found that a virtual support group worked so much better for our caregivers who sometimes could have a difficult time leaving their loved ones at night or even during the day to get the support that they need. So we have it every Wednesday night. If you filled out our registration form, you're eligible to participate in the support groups. If not, you can fill out the registration form. I hope you guys will fill that out for us, by the way. It's that's how I will get paid for tonight. That's how we raise money. This program is specifically funded by the County of Essex. So they provide that funding for us so that we can educate and raise awareness about this disease. But you can feel free, I have some business cards too. Yeah, or my brochure is in there, our company brochure is there. You can reach out to the office and we'll email you the link and you can sign up for the support group. Yeah, it's a pretty great, you know, nobody knows more about what you're going through than another individual living with it as well. We also bring in guest speakers all the time on different topics of interest, whether it be clinical trials, Medicare, Medicaid, legal services, how to help, how to get a power of attorney, a durable power of attorney, I'll say, healthcare proxies and things like that. So we talk about all those issues that are key to creating that long-term care plan. Yeah. Any other questions?
Great job.
Well, thank you. You guys are pretty fabulous yourself. Hey, wait. Can I get a group shot with us? Can you get a shot of me with them? Okay, awesome. You ready? I'm gonna sit down here. Like that. Oops.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
You what?
You eat one of my drinks.
Okay, great.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you. You guys were wonderful.